For those of you who've joined in early, the webinar is about to begin in a few minutes. You can make yourself comfortable and probably grab a notepad and get a cup of coffee because we are going to have an interesting session today. So before we get started, a quick confirmation on the audio and the video. If you can hear me loud and clear, check, audio check. And if you can see my screen as well clearly, all you have to do is make use of the chat to let me know the same. A quick audio video check. If my audio is loud and clear, and if you can see my screen, make use of the chat to tell me the same. Oh, lovely. Thank you so much for the confirmation. We are all set, good to go, and we will be starting off in a few minutes. Once again, a very good afternoon, and thank you for having taken the time to join me in today's webinar. This is Jay, a solutions expert at ManageEngine. So today's topic is an interesting topic, and it's a continuation of what we discussed last week. So this is the second part of the two-part webinar series that we are hosting for Office 365 administration, and the topic is the 5 essential tips that are going to help you to manage your Office 365 effectively, administration end-to-end. Last week, a quick recap on what we discussed last week. We were discussing on the first topic, which is Office 365 management or user provisioning. Yes, so that's the first entry point into identity and access management. You provision users. That's the idea, right? So we started right there, and we discussed about things relating to performing bulk user provisioning. We saw how the product helps you get your Active Directory users and Office 365 users provisioned simultaneously in one go. And what did we also see? We also saw how the HR can make use of a simple CSV file that had nothing more than just the first name, last name, and the relevant department name, and every other attribute and the relevant applications. All right, by applications I mean the Office 365 online apps. All of them got assigned license at the very word go. So that was what we discussed in the first week. All right, we went on to also see something super interesting. We saw how we'd be able to automate the whole process. We saw how we could get the whole thing, done automatically. That was something we got done. Then we were discussing about licenses management. When it came to licensing, we discussed as to how users can, be licensed in bulk right at the time of onboarding. Then we also discussed as to how to automate the whole process. So that was the two things that we discussed last week: provisioning users and managing licenses. So before we get into today's agenda, let me make myself clear for those of you who have questions coming up during the course of the webinar. No worries, just feel free to shoot them right at me. I'll try and take the questions live. Just in case if I miss one or two questions, I'll have them answered towards the end. All right, so that's a promise. And for those of you who want a copy of the webinar, the recording, all you have to do is drop me a message with your email ID, and I'll have the videos over. All right. So let's quickly start off with a recap on what we saw last week. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the product. We've got the 8360 dashboard like this. Basically, the 8360 dashboard is a composite of multiple modules. So we started off understanding the AD management module and Office 365 management module last week. When it came to the AD management module, we saw how we could get bulk user provisioning done. We saw how the product lets you have users onboarded in a 360-degree format. So we can have users provisioned in Active Directory, in Office 365, have Skype for Business accounts created, all of that. All right, I'm going to quickly open up the user creation templates module. What do we see right here? We've got a list of templates, and these templates are basically going to be the fundamental building block for your onboarding process. So when I open up a template, I'd be able to see that list of attributes predefined as per my requirement. Quickly opening up a template. So the templates are where I get to pre-specify the attributes that have to be populated for a category of users who satisfy a specific condition. So here I can have accounts provisioned in AD, in O365, and in G Suite all at the same time. If you can see, it's a simple layout from where I can have attributes pre-specified. Getting into the accounts tab, I can see memberships that can be pre-specified. And when I get into the Office 365 tab, I can also have licenses attached to a specific template. I can say if they belong to a specific group, if they belong to a specific department, if they satisfy a condition, maybe a role, maybe a designation, then assign all these licenses. That's going to be possible with user creation templates. So getting back to AD management, user creation templates, we are able to see that there are templates for different departments, one for the HR, one for IT, sales, marketing, and all of that listed in one place. I have created all of these to satisfy my requirement. I'll open up sales department. So I'm kind of doing a recap on what we saw last week. So that's the reason why I'm doing this fast. So here I have to enable Office 365. Since it's the sales department, I can get to the Office 365 module and say, just assign forms, teams, and Office Online for the sales department. So that way, when a user gets provisioned with this template, all right, all that the user is going to get assigned is these three applications. So the licenses are going to be assigned dynamically based on the rules that you set, in this case, the department, and when they meet the condition, they get the license. As simple as that. So if you are wondering as to how to do it the bulk way, I can have user accounts created in one single go with different attributes belonging to different departments by importing what's called a simple CSV file. All right, I'm going to open up a CSV file. Let me quickly open that up fairly right here. There you go, CSV file. So what do we have right here? I have a CSV file that's got the first name, the last name, and the template name. So that is all it has. So I'm able to see that the template name has departments in it. There's one for the IT department, one for the sales, and one for the marketing. So even if I have 25 users to be onboarded on a single day, I can have all of them provisioned simultaneously with all the necessary attributes that are to be populated in Active Directory in place, along with Office 365 accounts provision all at the same time. All right, I'm going to show you. So let's check if the import is done successfully. Getting back, and there you go. We've got the import and it's happened successfully. I'm able to see Thomas. All right, Thomas has the following attributes automatically populated. It says marketing department. It says the membership is pertaining to the marketing department, field marketing staff. As a marketing staff, he belongs to a specific OU. Oh, how does this all happen? And in fact, Thomas right here is also going to get an Office 365 account. But the CSV file that I had showed you has just the basic data. So where do we have Thomas? Thomas is belonging to the marketing department. It just has three attributes. So getting back to square one, all of this is going to be possible just because we got what? The templates. The templates that are going to make it easy for me. The templates that are going to help me pre-specify attributes, and when conditions are met, corresponding licenses are going to get assigned. So Thomas, when his Thomas account is provisioned, Thomas will get these apps: Microsoft Planner, Office 365, Exchange Online for the marketing department, and then I say save. So the next time when user accounts are being provisioned with this template, accounts are going to get those attributes or those licenses as simple as that. So that's how you do bulk user provisioning, a simultaneous bulk user provisioning on multiple platforms. AD Office 365 done with licenses also applied. So that was the first topic that we discussed last week. And then we also went on to talk about a bit on the Office 365 reporting side of things. There are certain reports that are available with the product, the AD management and integrated Office 365 module. So here you'd be able to see the inactive users, who've never logged on. So basically all those reports that are going to come in handy when you want to do a management revamp or when you want to take a managerial decision. So you can quickly see who's unlicensed and assign them licenses. So that's a very nifty tool. Likewise, if you have users in your organization, all right, they have Active Directory accounts and they do not have an Office 365 account, what would you ideally want? You'd want to create accounts for them. So you can quickly get into the management module, say, create Office 365 accounts for the existing AD users. So that's one useful way of onboarding users quickly. So I have all my users right here. These are all AD users in my organization. Yes, I can quickly select who all I want. All right. I in fact can search for a specific user if I have one in mind. I can select the specific user. Let's see if I have a John in my organization. Yes, I've got so many Johns in my organization. So I'm selecting whoever is the required user. And then all I have to do is select the properties or the applications that are to be granted for the account provision, the new Office 365 account that's being provisioned for an existing Active Directory user. I can specify the group memberships here. No groups are a part of my configuration. So yeah, you can select the passwords to specify that, say the country, the applications that have to be specified, all of that is possible. You can have the hold enabled, the litigation hold enabled. You can do an in-place archive, all of that right at the very start and get going with your Active Directory and Office 365 users, provision for the Active Directory users who are already existing. So this was pretty much what we discussed last week. We also saw a bit on delegation, Office 365 delegation, delegating roles granularly. So last week, I just given you a sneak peek on what is available in the AD O365 integrated version of or module of AD 360. We saw that, help desk technicians can have licenses or can have provisions to assign licenses or manage licenses and then create accounts. And you can go very granular and say who gets what. Just the provision to add licenses to an existing user, you can say that. You can say both add and remove licenses. And then you can specify the list of exchange tasks that can be done as well. And when it came to Office 365 reporting, you could get very specific and say what the technicians would get. So this is just the primer or the fundamentals that are required for an integrated approach towards AD and Office 365 management. So today, what we'll be doing is we'll be taking a deep dive into O365 auditing, reporting, and monitoring with alerts as well, right? So let me quickly get to the O365 module. So here starts the actual session, all right? Yes, so what do we have right here? We've got the O365 module for the module from the AD360 product. Let me quickly blow that up. So here you go. We've got the O365 module. The product basically, like you can see, has again management functionalities here. It's a full-fledged Office 365 loan management that we're talking about. So we'd be able to do Exchange online management and Assure management at every single level that you would probably want to do. It could be at a user level. It could be at a group level, distribution groups. Office 365 groups can be created. And then when it comes to user, you can have users created with licenses, perform bulk modification, all of that. So last week was more like an integrated approach towards identity and access management, where we saw license assignment and user provisioning. So today we'll be talking about the next 3 tips that are going to help you to perform your Office 365 administration to the fullest or to the best of your efficiency. We'll be talking about generating Office 365 reports that go beyond the basic functionalities that come with your Office 365 Admin Center. you'd be able to find users whose passwords are soon to expire, whose licenses are soon to expire. All these reports can really help you in the long run. So in case when you have probably an audit coming up, what would you want to do? You can't really, have audit logs skim through and make manual entries of things, handle multiple Excel sheets. That's going to be too tedious because many attributes are going to be involved. Yes. So what do we want to do right here? We want to make sure that the whole process is not just streamlined, but also you have reports that are out of the box. So we've got compliance reports that pretty much sums up the most important compliances that are out there. It's got all the critical parameters tracked and put together in a single report for you. So we'll be talking about an extensive Office 365 reporting module that comes with the product. We'll also be going further to discuss on the auditing functionalities in the O365 environment. Yes. So we'll go one step further to the native auditing that comes with your security and compliance center. What are we aware of? What do we usually do? We get to the admin tab, we get to the security and compliance. From there, we start working our way through the logs. Into search and investigation, audit log search, or content search. You can have your logs generated, and from here, the biggest problem starts. You'll have to make manual filters. You'll have to skim through data. You'll have to get, or if you want to do a root cause analysis for a problem, all that is going to be very tedious. Instead, what we have is a single pane approach towards getting your auditing done. Yes. So from the audit reports that are available, the reports are quite extensive, trust me. So you can have reports generated for more than a year. So literally there's going to be no restriction as to how long the data is retained. When it comes to your native security and compliance center, right after your auditing log search is turned on, all you'll be having is a 90-day window. You heard me right, a 90-day window. You do it through the OMP or Office 365 management module of the product, you would have access to all the past data. The database is extensive and it stores all sorts of log information, and at the same time also lets you create your own view. You can have a custom view created for a specific operation, for a specific person, for a lot of other attributes that are available. You can go granular, you can say what, where, when, how, who, and all that can be done. All right, so you can quickly have a name entered for a very specific person or for a very specific event and have custom views for your audit stuff. So here, I'd be able to walk you through a few cases, that we face day in, day out, especially when it comes to auditing. All right, let's talk about the Exchange activity to start with. So when it comes to Exchange activity tracking, there are certain things that need your quick attention, or there are certain things where the auditors would want to keep a close tab on. In terms of the Exchange activity, we want to know the activities by certain mailbox owners. You can do that. You can specify or pinpoint as to what sort of activity was done by the mailbox owner. If you want to talk about what's been going around with the Exchange administrators, you can again get reports that are going to let you know the admin activity. If, say, for example, a mailbox is created, you'd be able to see that a mailbox is decommissioned. You can see that. So in general, if you have a case in mind for any of the Exchange attributes in terms of a mailbox, you can have all of that sorted, figured out, and created as reports for your requirement. So there are certain other reports that or audit reports that usually come to your mind or for your requirement when it comes to staying compliant. Active Directory Azure users, so users who were recently created. So if you have users being created into a specific group, if that's your condition, you want to know who got created recently into the admins group or the security group. You can run your own filters, you can create your own view and say who got created where, and yes, you can be in a position to generate an extensive report, have the report even mailed to you as per the schedule that you set, or exported in a desired format. So these are certain audit reports that you'd want to like generate. In terms of group, you can see what were the groups that were modified. You'll be able to see the recently added members. This is a very useful report. I can quickly run a report to check who got added into the security groups. I can, in fact, all right, this is what I do. I quickly schedule reports on weekly basis, all right, just as a best practice, check if someone got into my administrator group. So just in case if I miss or it slips my eyes, so there's always going to be the report waiting in my inbox for me to figure out if something went wrong. I always have a fallback option. I always have a backup plan. So that's what I do. So nothing could probably go wrong. But if you're wondering as to why to wait for a week till something really bad happens, you can always have alerts configured. So alerts are more specific. Alerts are a lot more real time. All right, I'll just quickly go back in time to show you. I've got 46 alerts. I can't even count. So a huge load of trouble, and yes, tasks that require my attention. So I can get into those critical alerts and check what sort of actions have happened or what's the problem. I'm able to see that accounts got deleted, and I want to also know other details. I want to know the severity of the attack. I want to know what's really went wrong. So at every single touch point, I have filters that are going to help me figure out what ideally went wrong. And if you're wondering if you have a provision to create your own alert profile, so what if I have a problem that demands my quick attention? Say, for example, okay, we're talking about an alert that would help you prevent a possible malware penetration or malware attack that spreads across your organization. So someone inside your organization, if they went on to disable the malware filter, there comes the problem. So I can quickly create a new alert profile for that very specific requirement. I'm saying add profile. I'm saying malware filter. What do I say? Removal, or I can say malware filter disabled. All right. And the severity, it's going to be critical. You can't afford to have that in place. And then you can get into your Exchange Online. You can see the list of available services that we support, Exchange Online, and then you can get into the anti-malware functionality or category and say disable malware filter rules. So when a action of this criticality gets into the picture, you get immediate notifications because the updates are real time. You can have your very own custom notification configured saying alert, the malware filter is down. It's all right. It's this specific user right here. So this is the user who took the filter down. It's, let's say, Andrew, all right, who's responsible. Responsible. Yes, I got it. Act right away. I can, in fact, add the time of occurrence and say when exactly it happened, all right, where exactly it happened, object modified, things like that. So I can go on. The message is very adaptive. You can have custom messages, custom filters created for your requirements. So this was one alert profile that I wanted you to know. If any such critical management activity is taking place in the background, so you can't be at your environment all the time. You can't work around the clock. Yes, I do understand administrators stretch a lot, but then we do need a time off. We do need to, not spending too much time on just managing Office 365 or figuring out what really went wrong, right? So you'd want, or in fact, we trust a product of this sort that's got the potential to keep track of things on your behalf, run 24/7, keep you not just notified from the product, but also trigger emails or send text notifications to you when things like this happen. So you would be on top of the system. You know it if it's happening in the middle of the night. You'd still get alert notifications. You get alert emails that are very specific, pointing to the problem, to the root cause, and you'd be able to act immediately, get the filter up in no time, get the malware filter stored in place to prevent further breach or for further entry. So that is the beauty of the product. It lets you do real-time Office 365 alerting. So all this, like your attention, things that need your attention, things that are a real troublemaker. So all of that can be understood from the console or the dashboard that we have. So I will show you one more thing, okay? So there are few cases that are already pre-built, rules that we thought would be helpful for you, all right? Things like activities that go, that are in terms of mailbox delegation. So some mischievous mailbox delegation happens, you'd be able to pinpoint and find out what went wrong. Administrator roles are getting altered, permissions are getting changed, you'd be able to understand. Failed logons due to invalid credentials. This is a beautiful case. So what if you want to keep track of the admin account, all right, and then certain admin account for some reason is being brute force attacked. For what reason? Obviously, they want to get into your organization with that admin account. So someone, probably an insider in your organization, is trying to get hold of the admin password and performing like a brute force attack with multiple attempts of wrong passwords. If that is the condition, you can get the exact count as to what went wrong, as to who was the person responsible for the failed logons and who's attempting, and all those details, the caller details, the user ID who performed the operation, the time, all of that is going to get logged and emailed to you or alerted to you right away. So even before someone tries to get into your account through a successful brute force attack, you can stop it before it happens. You can get into the situation right away, figure out who is performing the attack, probably disable the user or disable the mailbox under attack for the time being and get to work then. Yes, so you can prevent such terrible things from happening. You can keep track of your entire Office 365 environment by creating custom alert profiles that not just send customized emails, but also can notify administrators or any other relevant user on what exactly is happening behind scenes. You can include information about the severity. You can talk about who was involved, when did the event occur, and a lot more. Yes. Let me take a few more quick cases so that we understand what the product can do for us. All right. Let me talk about OneDrive. Let's talk about files in your organization. Let's talk about critical files being probably deleted. That's something that you would not want to do. You have a very critical information in your organization. It's a problem pertaining to your OneDrive data, and then there's somebody trying to delete the data or delete the file. So this could be an intellectual property that we've been talking about. Cloud is secure, no doubt, but then cloud and compliance, cloud and security, it's a very complicated thing. It's on its growth phase. We're getting there. We're making things more secure. Yes, no doubt, but then still hackers find it a lot easier to get there and get things done, like deleting critical files, deleting intellectual property. You can't afford to do all that. So again, you can have custom notifications that get triggered as to when happened, what happened, what's the type of activity, who's the person involved, what was targeted, all of that, and you can quickly act on it before more files are deleted or before more files are probably shared. In fact, shared. This is as good as deleting the files. I have access to the financials of my organization. What would I do? If I have access to the payroll details in my organization, what would I do? So all those critical financial data, all those critical intellectual properties, again, you just can't afford to have them lost. You just can't allow a data leak in that case. You can see what file got shared, who was the person, what went wrong, and get to the roots of the problem and do a quick investigation and stop things then and there. All right. So what I'm doing today is I'm just giving you an overview on what all the products could do. When it comes to setting up the product, when it comes to setting up the alerts or configuring, I totally believe that you'll be able to do all of this all by yourself because the product is extremely user-friendly. The user interface and the user experience is designed in such a way that you'd be able to self-teach yourself. So all I'm doing is I'm helping you explore what all functionalities are available. And what I want you to do is I'd want you to take advantage of the link that I'm going to be sharing right now. All right, the link that I'm going to be sharing to you right now on the chat. So here on this link, just a quick moment, 3, 2, 1, and there you go. So this link is going to give you access to a page from where you'll be able to understand the whole concept of streamlining your Office 365 management. You'll be getting access to a complete license management, right? And a solution brief as well for user provisioning too. So download these PDFs, try out the product, check how things work. So all of you who joined today are entitled to a complimentary license of AD360. So we'll be sending out the complimentary licenses as well. Have them installed. You have any questions, I'm available for help. We'll help you as to configuring the product, setting it up, demonstrations, all that can be arranged. So all we want to do is to help you administer your Office 365 much better. We're talking about 5 tips today that are going to help you do that. We were discussing as to how the alerting and the auditing side of things work, all right? So we were also starting to discuss on compliance. Compliance for long has been a critical subject of discussion. Now that all of us are proactively adopting or adapting to the cloud, it becomes all the more important at this point to stay compliant. So what we've done is we've put together a list of compliance reports that are out of the box and that are going to help you to get wherever you want. So here, quickly searching back to the product, talking about a few reports, getting into the compliance tab, I've got all these classified ready for use. I've got reports for SOX, the sub-brands, I've got the HIPAA, I've got the PCI, I've got the GLBA, FISMA, all of that is available. User logon activity can be tracked. From HIPAA, I'd be talking about, the OWA logon by users, undelivered emails, all sorts of complaints-related reports that would come in handy are in one place. All right, so let's take a look. What more do we have? From the reporting module, we've got an extensive list of reports. I say complaints, all of that listed in one place. Yes? Perfect. OneDrive related reports. This is an interesting set of reports. So what's the end purpose or what's the idea behind all of this? Unlike an on-premise setup, data in the cloud is definitely a lot more, vulnerable. We need ways to stay compliant. We need ways to find out where exactly our data is being stored, who exactly has access to the data, what is my disaster recovery plan, what regulations am I complying with. In all these cases, if you ask if the native tools are really supporting you, not really. We're getting there, but then not really at this point in time, or not right away. Compliance in the native tools is more of a work in progress. And then again, when it comes to auditing, which is the critical component of compliance, staying compliant for your audits, yes, there's a 90-day barrier. There are limitations or stumbling blocks that stop you at every single point. Yes, so we'd not want to get into such sort of trouble. We'd want you to stay 100% compliant, and here you go. These are the reports that are listed. So I think you've taken a look as to what all is available in terms of the reporting structure that's there. All right. That's about the compliance side of things. So another interesting thing that I want you to note today, managing multiple tenants. So if you're an MSP managing multiple tenants, if you are an organization that's managing multiple tenants, with the native tools, it's going to be a little challenging. It's more cumbersome, so to say, doing it through the native way. But then what if I tell you you can add clients or you can add tenants just like that in like a matter of minutes. I'll show you how. I'm saying tenant settings. I've got 2 tenants already configured here. So I can add more or as many number of tenants that I want from the same console. And in fact, if you want to closely look at it, if one tenant goes down, I can still have users from the other managing the other tenant. That's going to be totally possible because we've got the delegation module that goes granular beyond what the native tools offer, beyond what the existing native tools offer. Quick moment. I'll show you how it works. So here you can add a new technician. You can have the help desk role created. There are a few roles for specific tasks. I quickly create a new role to show you what I'm talking about. So there you go. Go extraordinarily granular. Specify who gets what. Need not stick with the basic that's already available with your Office 365. It lacks granularity, definitely. It lacks granularity big time to just have a few customizations possible. So what I'm asking you to do is get to the product, get to the delegation module, find out where exactly can we be a difference or can we make a difference. Select those applications, select the levels of permissions, get to one application after the other. Group modification can be done. License management, yes, all this can be done. Delegate it to your technicians in terms of reports, in terms of management. Even if you have auditors, all right, if you have an internal audit happening, you can create an account for an internal auditor, select the list of audit reports that they can avail. You know, it's going to be more like a dashboard from where they can log in, and all they get to see is the reports in real time. Again, monitoring, a very, very useful thing for, you know, department heads or people who are managing IT directors. It's going to be important for them because they want to ensure the health of the Office 365 setup that's running. So all of that can be delegated intelligently, and at the same time, when I say delegation, it could be a completely non-invasive delegation. What's a non-invasive delegation? So if you do not want any of your help desk technicians, or if you do not want the person to who you're delegating to have actual control in Active Directory or Office 365, in Office 365, you can perform something called as impersonation. You'd be able to let a specific user, in this case the help desk technician, perform just the reset password activities on the domains that you want them to perform without the actual need of being an administrator, without the actual permissions in Office 365. How does it work? So here, the administrator's accounts are going to be taken as the mask. So here, the user, the help desk technician, will take the role or will impersonate the admin, and this is going to be at a product level. Through the product, technicians get access to the admin account, which does the action on behalf of the technician. As simple as that. So that way, your existing Office 365 permissions remain intact. Nobody gets extra access, so no problems at all. And if you're wondering, what about auditing? What about how do I find out who did what? If everybody keeps getting the admin impersonation option enabled, they'd be able to perform all those tasks. I'm giving them the admin role right here. I'm saying admin role right here. But then how exactly would I know who did what? So we've got that question as well answered. We've got something called as the audit report that's going to tell you exactly as to which technician who got delegated through the product, through the Office 365 module, performed what task at what time on which tenant and on which object and things like that, along with the provision to have them exported as reports and sent as emails to you right when you need them. All right. So we're not just helping you perform delegation at a very granular level, but we're also helping you perform delegation at the most secure level, where you not necessarily give access to your technicians in the real native environment. Still, you let them perform tasks and also keep track of who did what. So it's like a complete 360-degree control over your entire Office 365 administration. So that is the crux of this session today. All right. Just a few more important tasks that I want you to take a look at. So we discussed the 360-degree onboarding. We saw how users can be provisioned. We saw how deprovisioning as well happened last week. For those of you who missed, please drop a message right now so that I can have the videos sent over for the last week's session as well. It was an important session on onboarding and offboarding. We went on to discuss about the automations that were time-based. All right. We saw how you can have Office 365 accounts pre-provisioned based on rules that you set, based on conditions that get satisfied, and after specific days, specific actions get triggered. We also talked about the workflow in the product that lets you perform all these tasks automatically, but at the same time have control over what happens. You get to approve what needs to happen and what needs prior approval and all of that. All right. So this is as regards to the automation side of things that we discussed last week. License management, we saw how replacement, we saw how addition, all that can happen. And today, what did we see? We tried to understand a very big challenge, which is managing multiple tenants, and we saw how easy that is. All I have to do is just say add tenant, add, and manage as many as I want. So fundamentally, we are trying to solve the challenges that are listed right here. 360-degree provisioning, check, I can do that. Granularity in delegation, I have control over it right now. I can go granular, grant access to reports, audits, monitoring, all of that at a granular level. Can I manage multiple tenants? Absolutely, yes. Does the product give me extensive Office 365 reporting? Yes, again. And in terms of the limitation to the historic audit data, problem solved. We have a complete track on everything that happened from day one. Yes, license management is done. Managing multiple tenants also done. 365 reporting in terms of having access to identifying users who are inactive, users who are soon to expire, licenses that are about to get expired, and performing management tasks. So let me quickly show you a few more reports right here. I'm getting into the reports tab. All right. I'm just giving you an overview as to what the product can do. I'm helping you understand. So I want you to definitely try out the product, check how it works out for you, and let me know if you have any feature requests in place, because we are growing right now with a lot more features being incorporated. So we carefully listen to whatever you said, and in the last few releases, we've brought in an extensive list of features. So we want to know what more you'd like after you try the product, and let us know your feedback. So here from the password status report, I have a soon to expire passwords report. So I can run this report, find the users, configure notifications for these users. So we have the insight, then we have to perform the action. So we've got the management tab from where you can trigger notifications for users, all right, and have messages sent out to those users when their passwords are about to expire. So password expiry notification is going to be possible. Yes, you can also have notifications sent out for, just a minute, I'm showing it to you right here. So password expiry notification, you can have a complete notification, a customized notification that's going to tell the number of days. So this is again going to save you from the trouble of remembering to remind your user. So I can say specific days. On the 7th day, before 7 days of expiry, remind the user. Before 5 days, remind the user. Before 2 days, before, all of that is going to be possible. And I have questions coming in right now. So a lot of you have asked for the recording. No worries at all. I'll have the recording sent. And there's Tad who asks, I see where I can have members on a CSV if I'm creating a new group. What if I'm trying to update an existing group? That again is going to be possible from the AD management module. So all you have to do is ensure that the append option is not selected and overwrite option is selected. So I'd send you over the instructions in a bit once the session is done. I'd do that. So you'd be able to overwrite the existing group membership or move group memberships. That's going to be possible. And again, more session videos. Yes, I can do that. No worries. So in terms of the product being an end-to-end solution for your Office 365 administration, yes, we've thought through. It's got all those features you definitely want. You can create your own custom alert profiles. You can create your own custom audit profiles. You can set fetch intervals. You can add as many number of profiles that you want. So we've got an extensive list already in the product. If you have your own specific requirements, you can add profiles. You can set the criticality of it for whichever task or whichever service be it. It could be complaints, it could be a complaint not being met or being violated. You can have alerts triggered and get to the crux of it, solve the problem, stay compliant, have one step ahead or stay one step ahead and get what the others don't have. You can have profile-based auditing. Group-based auditing can be done. You can select the group and audit the members in the group. All right. You can have advanced filters in place where you, necessarily need not skim through the entire list or entire length of the audit logs that are going to be generated after the tiresome process right here. Instead, you can run your own filters, have data, pinpoint what problem, and have solutions for that. Multiple formats of exports are supported. Go beyond the native limitations, have policies configured. And in terms of alerts, you can have severity, you can check for different cases, get real-time notifications in case something critical happens. Have a cool dashboard that tells you what's wrong, that gets you to work right away. And that's pretty much about the Office 365 session that we were talking about. The 5 tips that we essentially discussed were right here. We saw how to get the provisioning done. We saw how to manage licenses effectively and in fact revoke them when I deprovision users, revoking the licenses automatically when the users get out of the organization. We today saw how reports can help you, identify critical situations in your organization and act right on them. Compliance, yes, you can definitely stay compliant. You've got the product. Audit profiles for your specific, information needs. And then provision to do elastic search, and then we've got the alerts there for your critical incidents, just so that you are on top of the system. So all you have to ask yourself is, can your system perform simultaneous bulk user provisioning? Does your tool allow you to do custom roles? Does your tool help you do delegation granularly? Does it support multiple tenants? If your answer is no, then all you have to do is have this link with you, all right, and take hold of all the complimentary guides that we'd be offering you. Set up the product, try it out. Don't go ahead, get the product right away. Take the 60-day complimentary license, check if things are working out for you. Tell us what more you need. We've got a dedicated team working on this specific module, and we'd want to hear from you, all right, and we'd want to help you out. That's our intention. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. My name is Jay, your presenter for the day. It was lovely bringing to you the session today. And if you have questions, please feel free to shoot your questions right at me right now. I'll take them live. In case for those who want a copy of the video, a lot of you have already pinged. For the others, if you want a copy, drop a message. I can have the entire resource kit sent. The compliance guide, we've got an exhaustive compliance guide, the complimentary license, the user provisioning manual, the one that simplifies the process, and the 5 critical features that you need for effective Office 365 management. So that's a lot of resources that you can quickly avail, easy documents that are going to help you in the longer run. Thank you so much once again, Jay, for the day. Bye-bye.